them in the same regard. But that's here nor there. Go ahead. Count down. Yeah. Ready?
Welcome back. We are with my sweet pea, my mocha, my Latina, my Michelle Kirby.
Get it, girl.
She is gonna get me after this interview, but I love her so much. We're just gonna have a good time. Okay, touchy subject. That's kind of been going on in the media, and some things that you talked about in the book. And I'm not going to tell you what the book says because you just need to go buy your copy. Okay.
No copy.
2 for $50. Okay. There have been a lot of incidences of this sexual harassment cases coming out in the media with a lot of the female stars, and they're coming out, you know, a couple months after to years, decades after the incident. And the whole Me Too movement is trying to bring more awareness to women being sexual harassed. And let's not forget that men get sexually harassed as well. What advice would you give someone based on some of the things you went through in your life and sexual harassment towards men and women?
I think, sexual harassment is definitely a touchy subject because if you talk about it, it's frowned upon, and there's many things and connotations like, well, how do you dress, and did you ask for it, and why didn't you come out sooner? And that's neither here nor there. In all this called life, we have to feel comfortable in our own skins.
Yes.
And we have to make sure that as women and as men, we are letting people know that they have to respect boundaries and that there's certain things that you can't do. You know, sexual harassment can be verbal, and it can be physical.
Yes.
And it could be a really bad mental game to where the person doesn't even want to go to work because they're feeling like, oh gosh, you know, they're going to say this again, or they might catch me in a dark room, or they might follow me to the mail room. Like, you know, I've had instances in my past that I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, and I've had to push people off me and just say, excuse me, no, you know? And so I've been fortunate to where I haven't had so many occurrences happen because honestly I've stopped them. I'm very strong-willed and I just wouldn't allow it. But there's some people that are just vulnerable. They find themselves in a moment where they were just caught doing something. So when they actually say turned around, found themselves, you know, confronted with that situation dead on, literally. I would just say, number one, if you can't prevent it from happening, but it does happen, say something. You know, go to somebody, whether it's at work, whether it's your parents, whether it's a best friend, whether it's a pastor, whoever that you can trust, go to them, because that's not something you need to hold on to. And that's not something to feel shame about, like you brought it on yourself. It's a free country. You wear what you want, but you also have to be a little responsible and know that in certain areas, you know, you dress for your atmosphere. At the gym, you can wear that tank top and perhaps still be honest about it, but do you feel good about it, but know that there can be some consequences and some things said, and more importantly and more devastating, some consequences can come from just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's not that you asked for it, you know? So don't be ashamed and go to someone and don't wait too long, because again, those are thorns of unforgiveness and shame and I'm not good enough, and you start body shaming yourself and you start trying to just act different because you never let that go, and you were never able to find peace and then walk within your peace, you know?
I don't like that statement, you know, stitches get snitches. Well, let me tell you something. I guess I'd be all stitched up. I would, because I know who I am, and I'm not going to let you run over me. You're not going to take that power and that level of confidence out of me.
That's right.
And you know, women, just stand up and be who you are. Men, stand up. You know, a lot of people just don't know how many men get harassed. It can just be, you know, harassment on the job or sexual harassment. I mean, just, you know, if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. And I'm believing standing for the truth. And if it's the truth, it may hurt, because I was in a situation last year where I had to tell the truth about something that I went through. And I was called a liar. And I remember looking that lady in the face and I said, that's okay if you call me a liar. I'm fine with it. Actually, I kind of came prepared for you calling me a liar. But I know the truth.
Right.
And God knows the truth, and the other person that was in that situation, they know what happened.
Right.
But I have forgiven myself. I have forgiven the situation, and I'm gonna let God handle this right now.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what's gonna happen, but may God bless you in your life and whatever else, because it is the truth.
Yeah.
And I stand on the truth. So just know you have power.
Absolutely.
If you're a God-given child, you have all the power.
That's right.
And He gives us that power every
That's
single
right.
day. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I'm sorry. How do you feel about the Me Too movement? Everybody's wearing black at the Golden Globes.
Yes,
with the Me Too
yes,
movement.
yes. And I think that it's good and bad, and this is why I say it. Me Too is like, okay, you finally came out, so the one person became a martyr, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And then everyone else
Yeah,
jumps on the bandwagon. And it's both good and bad, because I wish that you would have, everyone out there that it happened to that kind of came out, I wish you would have had the courage and the boldness to come out before that.
Yeah.
But because you didn't doesn't diminish anything. I'm proud you did, and I'm proud of the situation in a whole, to where now everyone's saying, well, I'm not going to be ashamed of what happened. I'm not going to think that I'm going to be thought of as a liar, and I'm going to come out and just speak the truth of what happened, so that justice can be done. It's unfortunate when you have people in power, whether it's show business, whether it's a pastor, whether it's a teacher, a doctor. It doesn't, because they're labeled as such in society, doesn't mean that they're immune to doing bad. So don't ever think that, oh, they're not going to believe me because it's so and so. Just, the Me Too movement brought power to women, and it brought them their voice back. And I really believe that this is a good year for women empowerment, and for women to just come out and speak and just tell the truth and just be honest and not be ashamed.
Yeah. Nice. Very, very good. Okay. Last question before we take a break. Oprah Winfrey. I had to pull up my fashion glasses because I can't see off paper anymore.
Oh, they're cute. Girl, what, they Vogue? Down a pair of Vogue.
Thank you for my vision insurance. I love Oprah Winfrey. I think
too.
she's always been.
I sent her one of my books.
Oh, Oprah, put that in the book.
I sent it to Gail King. So.
I just think Oprah is the definition of a woman. I mean, she's
so classy.
I don't think a word can define her.
No.
She's just smart, beautiful, intelligent. And for her to come out of Mississippi, it gives me a lot of hope.
Right.
Oh my Lord have mercy. Thank you, Oprah. You set the bar high. She said this when she was at the Golden Globe Awards, and it's the last part of her speech. And she said, in my career, I've always tried to do my best, whether on television or through film, is to say something about how men and women really behave, to say we have experienced shame, how we love and how we rage, how we fail, how we retreat, preserve, and how we overcome. Men and women. I mean, I think that's a powerful sentence. She said, I've interviewed and portrayed people who withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you. But the one quality all of them seem to share is the ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights. So I want all girls watching here now to know that the new day is on the horizon. And when that day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in the room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say Me Too again. And what is your take on Oprah's speech?
Well, first of all, I actually watched it Friday. I watched it yesterday in completion, and I was just blown away.
I was.
The magnitude of which she speaks, and the class and the delivery, and just her way of connecting with people and not making them feel like they're less than speaks volumes. And I was just in awe of how she communicated that, where it hit me, and I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? She simply just said, we are coming into a time and an age to where it's permissible and it's actually celebrated to be authentic,
Yes.
to be truthful,
Yes.
to speak out when something happens to you, to not be ashamed of who you are, to not let people define you. And the roles that she's played, Oprah Winfrey has played some dynamic roles that when you watch them and you think of the people that she's portrayed, it's gut-wrenching, and it's, some of them are sickening and some of them are just so sad. But now in this day and age, with just so much technology, you know, everyone, I think in this day and age, we are seeking God more. And there's just so much wonderful stuff going on, and there's so much hope. The reason why we can hang on to that hope is because of women like Oprah Winfrey, and it's because of women like Rosa Parks, and it's because of Martin Luther King, you know, John F. Kennedy, just these leaders that honestly have left their mark. And it's up to us to then take that baton and leave another mark, you know, run with it and leave another mark for our future generation. Where we don't have to say, oh, me too, and jump on the bandwagon, but we can say, yes, this is what's going on, and someone else can have a different story and say, well, this happened, but recently, and I took care of it. You know, there's so much more empowerment when you know who you are, and when you just stand up for yourself versus just always being silent and like thinking you have to be behind a veil.
Girl, dang, Michelle, that was just as powerful.
Oprah, coming for
Oh
you.
my God. Oprah, put that book in the book club, boo. Come on now. We'll be right back after this. Oprah, get this in the book club.
Please,
Just don't let it look like mine.
let it look like this.
Yeah, that's what you, this right here, this ain't what you want me to like.
What once was nails now are feathers. When it rains, it pours sometimes with weather. First time colors now once black and white. To make brilliant skies and trees in blue and green unfold before my open eyes. Yeah. Oh, blue is the new black. So why must we look back? Oh, blue is the new black. Why must we look back? 'Cause I can see for the first time, yeah. I can see for the first time, yeah. Why must we look back? Oh, I can see for the first time, yeah. Oh, I can see for the first time, yeah. Oh, I can see, yeah. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that, maybe do it again, a different format. Maybe next time I won't fall flat, but I can't look back 'cause I'm on the right track. Oh, blue is the new black. Don't ever look back. Oh, blue is the new black. never look back. Oh, I can see for the first time, yeah. Oh, I can see for the first time, yeah. Oh, I can see for the first time, yeah. I can see for the first time,
Yeah. Wanna know? Hey, hey. We're gonna have some fun with this one.